Well, hello electronics enthusiasts, welcome back to my channel. Okay, I got a bit of a challenge up on the old workbench today. This is a buddy of mine's, it belongs to him. It's his much beloved Pioneer SPEC-4 audio amplifier from his stereo. He is quite the music enthusiast, he likes to play it loud, and he's got a lot of vintage equipment, and well, he blew it up. So he wanted to know if maybe I could fix it. The guy he normally gets to work on this kind of stuff, apparently he couldn't get a hold of him. So, well, I said I'll take a look at it. No guarantees I can fix it. Although, fortunately, he has all the original paperwork that came with it. That's nice, including the schematic. There's a schematic in here. I was studying this the other night. So, yeah, that's nice. Having the schematics going to help a lot. So, but I look around on the forums about these things. Everybody says they need to be done by a professional. And although, yeah, as an electronic engineer, I don't have a lot of experience with audio equipment, really. You know, computers, motor controls, that kind of thing. But I told him I'd take a look at it. If I can't figure it out, he'll have to find somebody else to work on it. But so right off, I got the top and the bottom off, and right off, of course, I find a blown fuse. So 6 amps, 125 volts, a lot of cat hair in there too. I wonder if that contributed to the problem. I don't know. So I have a feeling if I just replace this fuse and power it up, it'll probably just blow again. So we got to figure out why the fuse blew. I'll get back into the schematic and see if I can see what this fuse powers. Is it the main power supply or what? I'm not certain. So I'll have to look at the schematic again and figure out what this fuse is for. So here I've got the schematic out and I'm looking at it. And it's interesting because he told me only the left channel failed. But this is one of the main 125 volt fuses. So it looks like it's got two different power supplies. Okay, so it must be one for the left channel and one for the right channel. So I would imagine it's the left channel power supply that's failed. It looks to me, yeah. So this is the left channel up here, which you can't really see unless I zoom out. Okay, so this is the left channel up here. Right channel is identical. They just sort of draw it as a module with wires going in and out. It's basically identical to the left channel. And it looks like the power from this section of the supply is going up to the left channel, and the power from this section of the supply is going to the right channel and to the front panel meter amp assembly. So the front panel on this thing has some nice meters on it. So it looks like either there's a short in the power supply somewhere for the left channel, or there's a short up here in the left channel somewhere that's drawing too much current. That's what I'm thinking. So, okay. I suppose I should probably work from the fuse back. See if I got any kind of dead short over here in the power supply first. And then work my way back, because, you know, of course, the output transistors are always suspect on these things. They could have been blown, I suppose. So they could be shorted. So I need to check those. But I think I'll start with the power supply down here and make sure that the diodes in this bridge rectifier are okay. None of the caps are shorted. And then work my way back into the amplifier assembly itself. So I think that's a good place to start. Okay, after doing a lot of probing around in the left channel power supply down here, the caps seem fine, and the power diodes down here, and boy are they robust power diodes, let me tell you, they seem fine too. So I guess I'm going to have to move over into the amp section and start looking around in it, because I think the power supply is okay. I could disconnect the power from the left side, put a new fuse in, turn it on, see what happens, see if I'm getting power like I should. But I think I'll just, while I've got the case off and I'm sitting here, I think I'll just go ahead and probe around in here a little bit and see what I can find. Yeah, okay, I know you can't see up in there where I'm at. Oh, I can barely see up in here. Okay, yeah, at least 2 of the output transistors on the left channel section are shorted. Do the same measurement on the right channel. Nothing. Yeah, so we got at least 2 bad transistors in the output section of the left channel. I'll have to probably flip this thing over and test the other 2 that I can't get to from this angle and see if they are bad. Okay, so the output transistors are bad. Did anything else go when they went? That is the question. If I replace these transistors, are they just going to blow the next time I power it up? That's the question. But first I got to see how many of these transistors are bad. So I got to flip this thing around and check the other 2. Okay, on this side, all the connections for the transistors come out to these wire wrap posts. So it's a lot easier to test the transistors from this side. I wish I'd realized that at first. So let's see. This wire bundle goes to the transistor I haven't tested yet. Okay. And it is shorted too. Yeah, okay, so it's shorted. Just double check here, yeah. Okay, so both those transistors on that side are shorted, and this wire bundle goes to the one I haven't checked yet. And yes, it's shorted too. Of course, I would have been surprised if all 4 of them weren't shorted. Okay, so all 4 of these power transistors on this big aluminum heatsink are shot on the left side. They're all fine on the right side. So, yeah. Okay, so that's why we blew the fuse. Okay. So I got to figure out what those transistors are, if I can get replacements for them easy. How the heck to get in here to replace them? I guess I'm going to have to take the back panel off, but it looks like all this stuff's hanging off the back panel. So, yeah, I'll have to do a little disassembly here. Well, that's okay. And then I need to, yeah, because if I take this all apart, yeah, taking this back panel off, this whole amplifier assembly is going to come away from the power supply part of it. So that's good. That'll give me access to the amp board up here, so I can probe around on it and see if there's any damage to the rest of the amplifier, or if it's just limited to the power transistors back here. So, okay. So I've got some disassembly ahead of me. Careful disassembly. Yeah. Okay, so it looks like at the very least I'm going to need 2 2SD424 transistors and 2 2SB554s. I hope those are available still. They look like pretty old part numbers. I'll have to do a little shopping, and then I've got to get this thing disassembled so I can actually get at them to replace them and check the other components on the left channel amp board there. So maybe it's just my inexperience with working on audio equipment, but I'm having a hard time believing that all 4 of these transistors have blown. I would think that, you know, maybe this pair would blow or this pair would blow, and that would be enough to short out the power supply and blow the fuse. Don't quite know how all four of them would manage to blow before the fuse went, but I suppose it's possible. I mean, like I said, my inexperience. I'm also wondering if, I'm reading dead shorts across all three terminals of all four transistors. I'm also wondering if other components in here could be shorted and causing that, although I'm not seeing an obvious way that can happen. But I suppose it's possible. But unfortunately, I can't really easily isolate the power transistors from the amplifier module over here, because they're connected with these really pretty and well done wire wrap connections, and I could unwrap them, but I don't have the tools to rewrap them as nice. So yeah, I'm going to have to probably get to where I can pull the transistors out of their sockets and then test them individually and make sure it's actually the transistors that are bad. And then once the transistors are out, of course, I can check and see if the short goes further back into the amplifier module. Okay, so yeah, I got more disassembly to do for sure. Okay, let's see if I can do this without breaking anything. My workbench isn't big enough for this thing. I'm surprised I haven't collapsed under the weight of it yet. But once I get this power amp section off, I suppose, I don't know how well it's going to disconnect, whether I can, I don't know, we'll see. But I think I'm definitely on the right track, because these screws I'm removing now, which are going to pull the whole power amp section away from the power supply and meter section, it looks like these screws have been out a few times in the past, I can tell. The paint's worn off of them. They're a little bit munged from having screwdrivers on them. So these screws have been out before. And my buddy said that this screw is stripped. I can't get the screwdriver in there. I have to figure out. Yeah, I have to figure out how to get these screws out. My buddy said this is not the first time it's happened. His normal guy for fixing it just wasn't available. So, okay, so he's blown this up before, and it looks like I'm following in the other guy's footsteps. I just got to figure out how to get these screws out. They are stripped and corroded. Okay, I'll figure that out though. I could take anything apart. It's getting it back together that's the hard part. Well, that was actually fairly easy. I got the whole left channel assembly out here. Yeah, I didn't actually have to take apart as much as I thought I did. It didn't come apart the way I thought. So I think I'm going to put some screws back in and hold the right channel assembly in place so it doesn't get damaged. And I could then take this whole big thing and get it off my workbench and just work on the left channel assembly. That might be what I will do. So I'll just put this back in because I really didn't need to take it apart as much as I did. And it was nice of the designers to leave enough cable to pull this out. Although I did take a picture of, this is the power connections coming in, these heavy wires here. I did take a picture of them so I can put them back the right way. Wouldn't want to put them back backwards, okay? Alright, so let me put a few screws back in this thing, reconnect a couple of plugs, and I'll disconnect the power wires here. And then we can just work on the left channel assembly all by itself. Alright, success. I got the left channel amp module out of the unit. This is actually only weighs a couple pounds. All of the weight in there is all in the transformers, I think, in that linear power supply. You know, the more I look at this thing, the more I appreciate the way it was built. At first I was a little surprised to see two completely separate big linear power supplies in here, one for each channel. But then, I got thinking about it, it kind of makes sense. I'm not being an audio guy, I don't know if that's normal for high-end audio equipment or not, but okay, so you got your left channel power supply here, your right channel power supply here, and you could have like some big thumping bass at high power on like the right channel, and, you know, some, I don't know, some violins or something on the left channel, and there would be no crosstalk. I mean, the big thumping bass could be pulling down the voltage rails on the right channel, but that's not going to affect the left channel at all. You know, the audio rendition on the left channel would still be perfect because it's got its own power supply and its own isolated voltage rail. There's absolutely no crosstalk between the two channels. You know, they have nothing in common until you get it back out to the AC plug. So that's kind of neat. So, all right. Now, I just need to figure out if these transistors, all four of them, are really bad or not. So I'll have to pull them out of their sockets and measure them out of circuit because I don't want to undo these lovely wire wrap connections here. So I'll just pull them out and measure them out of circuit and see. And then I suppose I'll have to probe all these other transistors, which there are plenty on this board. Okay, got my work cut out for me. Better get started. Okay, I have pulled off the two USB 554s from over here, and this is interesting. This one, yep, dead shorts. Okay, this one, not shorted. Okay, see, I was wondering why all four transistors would be bad. Because I would think that, you know, one or a pair of them would go bad, and then the fuse would blow before the others had a chance to go. So I'll bet when I take these, what are these, the two SPEC-4 off, I'll bet I'll find the same thing. I'll bet only one of them is shorted, actually shorted. So yeah, let me get those off and see. Yeah, we got the same problem with the two SPEC-4 over here. One, this one is shorted. This one, no. No. Okay, so yeah, only one of each pair blew, which is kind of what I was expecting. But I'll tell you what, when I took this one out, the screws on this transistor were not tightened down. This thing probably was not making good thermal contact with the heat sink here. And that may have been, you know, what led to the failure. It may have overheated. And when it went out, it may have taken out its opposite partner over there. So, yeah. So, I've at least got two bad transistors here. Now, these are matched pairs. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to order two more matched pairs and replace all four transistors for my buddy. And then I need to do some more sleuthing and spelunking here and see if there's anything else in here that's bad. I'll probably end up having to test all these transistors in here and see if there's any others that are shot. I suppose I should check the diodes too while I'm at it and make sure none of them are shorted. So yeah, okay, so it's going to take a little while. I'm off camera, but there's the module. So it's going to take a little while. Troubleshoot. I mean, I've got time because it's going to take a while to get two more matched transistor pairs out here. Anyway, I also need to get new heat sinks and heat transfer grease. I don't think I have any. I might have some grease. I'll have to look. But yeah, I'm going to need new transistors. Might as well get new heat sinks and make sure I've got some transfer grease. And test all these other transistors. Okay. I'll be back if anything turns up. Okay, so I've spent some time probing around on the amplifier board here, and I thought I'd found another bad transistor. This one over here seems to be shorted. Collector to base. But then, you know, it took me a while to figure out which transistor this is, because I don't recognize the numbering on it, and I'm like, well, if I need to replace that transistor, what the heck is it? So I got to figure out which one it is on the schematic where they call out the actual part number of the transistor. Well, I think I figured it out. I think it's Q3 over here. But if you look at the schematic for over here, Q3, the emitter and collector are shorted together on purpose. So I'm not finding any other problems on the board. Unless I've missed something, and maybe I'll go over it, again, just to be safe. It looks like there aren't any bad semiconductors on this board. I don't see anything that's swollen or blackened or burned or bloated or anything. It all looks pretty good. So, yeah. It might just be those two transistors, But I think I'm going to replace all four of them because, the other two were probably badly stressed, and I need matched pairs anyway. So I'll replace all four transistors and then cautiously test this thing. But it's going to be a while before we can get to that because I got to get the new transistors first, and I know that's going to take a little while. But as far as I can tell, there doesn't seem to be anything else wrong with this amplifier module. I guess we'll find out, won't we?